Today, I'm going to show you about function machines and how to use them. So we're going to be given an input and we're going to find the following output. If there's not one, explain why not. So the first one says the function of x equals negative 2 times x plus 4. F of x means function of x or y. So basically it says y equals negative 2x plus 4. So we're going to start by rewriting it. So f of x equals negative 2x plus 4. And it says right here that x equals negative 4. So we're going to fill in all the x's with negative 4. So function of negative 4 equals negative 2 times negative 4 plus 4. So function of negative 4 equals negative 2 times negative 4 is 8 plus 4. Bring down the equation. So the function of negative 4 equals 12. So function of x equals negative 12. The next one says function of x equals square root of x plus 1. F of x equals square root of x plus 1. Fill in all the x's with negative 9. So function of negative 9 equals square root of negative 9 plus 1. So to find the square root of the square root is a number times a number. And we know that negative 9 can't have a square root because a negative times a negative equals positive, and a negative times a positive equals a negative. For square root, both numbers have to be the same. So the square root of 9 would be 3 because 3 times 3 is 9, but we can't have one for negative 9. So there's no solution. No square root of negative 9. Okay, the next one says the function of x equals x cubed. So function of x equals x cubed. Cubed means instead of it's like an exponent, but instead of multiplying a number times a number, you do a number times a number times a number. So if we put in 3 for the x's, the function of 3 equals 3 cubed. So you do 3 times 3 times 3. You'll get 9 times 3, which is 27. So the function of 3 equals 27. So function of x. At the point where x is 3, y, or x of x, will be 27. Now we're going to be given outputs and find the inputs. If there's not, explain. So we have the function of x equals absolute value of x. Absolute value means how far something away is from 0. So if you had a number line just like this, here's 0, here's 7, negative 7, here's 7. They're both 7 spots away from 0. So the absolute value for this would be 7, the absolute value for this would be 7. So just erase that. Okay, so function of x equals absolute value of x. So it's telling us that the f of x is negative 4. So we just replace the function of x, or the y value, with negative 4. Rewrite the equation. So negative 4 equals the absolute value of x. Well, we actually can't have an absolute value that's negative because absolute values are always positive because it's just the distance away from 0. It doesn't matter to what side of 0 it is, just how many spaces. So we wouldn't be able to say that negative 4 equals, let's say we did x is 4. So the absolute value of 4 would be 4. And so it would still, negative 4 does not equal negative 4. Or if we did the absolute value of negative 4, equals negative 4. That's still not true because the absolute value of negative 4 is 4. So negative 4 will never equal negative 4. So there's no solution. Okay, so now we have another one. Function of x equals x squared minus 1. And it's telling us the function of x is 143. 143 equals x squared minus 1. Okay, so first we're going to add 1 to both sides because we need to balance out the subtract. So negative 1 plus 1 will make a 0. So that's gone now. 143 plus 1 is 144. So 144 equals x squared. Just as when you solve normal equations, to get rid of multiplication, you divide because that's the opposite. The opposite of an exponent is a square root. So we're going to do square root on both sides, and that'll take away the 2 up here. So we'll have the square root of 144 equals x. So what times what is 144? Well, the square root of 144 is 12, so x equals 12. So at the point that y, or the function of x, is 143, x will be 12. Okay, the last one, the function of x equals square root of x minus 10. So we take function of x. Since the function of x equals 7, they're the same thing. So I'll write negative 7 equals square root of x minus 10. So we're going to add 10 right here, make a 0. Add 10 on this side. Negative 7 plus 10 is 3. So 3 equals the square root of x. So we already said before that the exponent is the opposite of a square root. So we're going to put the exponent up here. We put a square right there and a square right here. So this right here will take away this. So 3 squared equals x. And 3 squared means 3 times 3. 3 times 3 equals 9, so 9 equals x. Today we used the math practice standards, logic and reasoning. We attended to precision, and we utilized structures.